Welcome back for another video, guys. Devin Trader here again. Today we're going to break down my trade on EURUSD and show you guys how profitable this trade really was. I mean, it was just incredible how long this trade went a profit. If you're here or you're new by now, you don't know, I trade using strictly price action patterns, getting into a trade using breakout pullback method, identifying evening stars when I'm going for a sell, and morning stars when I'm going for a buy. I want to show you guys my simple method how to profit from the market every single day. First and foremost, guys, right? I have three different sections I want to talk about. The breakout pullback pattern is a strategy. The 9 a.m., 5 p.m., and 10 p.m. is your trading schedule. And break even, small profit, and big profit is your thought process. So when it comes down to being a great trader, I always say you have more than one aspect of the field you got to master. When it comes to this right here, you have your strategy, you got to master that. You have your trading schedule. That's one of the most important parts about like when you're trading, when you're looking for setups, things like that. And you also got to think about your thought process. How do you think about every single trade? For me, I always want my trade to end up one or three ways. Either I want to break even on that trade, make a small profit on that trade, which is normally TP1, or make a big profit on the trade. Anything past a TP1 target, I consider big profit, right? So when it comes down to it, guys, really think about all the aspects of your trading, not just your strategy or your method, because you need to master your discipline, your emotions way, 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 way more than learning how to trade a strategy. Once you know a method that you like a lot or you want to kind of learn, that's the easy part. You'll easily grasp onto that method very, very quickly. But the schedule, the emotional turmoil, things like that, that all comes with experience, right? Being up on time, being emotionally available for yourself, and understanding how you feel and how you react to certain situations in the given market. But first and foremost, guys, right? Let's talk more about the strategy in this given trade. When I got into a sell on EURUSD, I got into a sell right after this evening star pattern. I had my stop loss above the level. Now let's break this down even more. If we look at this over here, this is the previous level of support and resistance. If you do still need practice about identifying your levels of support and resistance, go over to my previous video. I broke it down perfectly how to add these lines, how to add these levels, these zones, whatever you want to call it. Go look at that video, and it's practice and practice and practice, and you will get better at it. With this right here, guys, okay, we can see before it had a breakout, then it had a pullback, making this level a previous level of support, right? Price action here, this red bar, when it broke below that zone, that was the breakout bar, right? That's always the first step of your method, right? The breakout. This bar is going to start at 1 a.m. Wednesday morning and it's going to close by 9 a.m. Wednesday morning. Okay. This is the first step. It does not mean you enter your trade, whatever it may be. It just means that you know that potentially on your USD, you might find a great setup. So this right here was the breakout bar. After you have a breakout bar, you then gotta wait for the pullback, right? Never, ever, ever just get into a trade because you see a breakout. We're going to talk more about that in another video. So when it comes to this right here, you have the breakout bar. And then you look to identify the pullback. The same way like practicing, learning how to identify your levels of support and resistance, you got to really practice identifying this pullback. Because sometimes that pullback can be super big, or sometimes like right here, it can be super quick. And you got to learn how to identify that, right? Like I said before, take your time and really look at the chart and study it, and you will learn a lot from it. So the pullback most of the time or all the time will be a part of that evening star pattern. So remember, right? I'm gonna say that slowly. The pullback sometimes or all the time can be a part of your pullback as well. And you got to kind of practice identifying that the more and more you get experience being a trader. With this right here, guys, okay, the green will be the pullback to the same exact past level of support where now it's going to become a new resistance, right? Because price action broke below the level, it's a pullback now to a previous level of support, but now a new level of resistance. So once you can identify the pullback, the last final step would be that evening star pattern. And as you can see, as I said before, the pullback can be made up of the evening star pattern as well, right? But that's the final step you have to identify before you have a entry. In this scenario, we're going for a sell. So breakout step one, pull back step two, identify the pattern step three, and you want to see all three of those steps happen by 9 in the morning or 5 p.m. in the afternoon, which comes down to our next section, right? That right there was our strategy. Very easy, very clean, right? Practice that. Practice learning how to execute a trade. Don't worry about making a bunch of profits and things like that. Worry about, can you identify the breakout? Can you identify the pullback? Can you identify the pattern? And you just simply learn how to get in. Once you can do that at a consistent basis, then we practice how to hold on longer to make more profit and things like that. But if you are brand new or at square one, practice execution, right? Learn how to execute the trade and get into the position and then make a small profit. And once you do that at a certain amount of times over a year or a few months, you learn how to make more money by holding on longer, which is also another video I'm gonna talk about down the road. But remember, guys, right now, your job is learning how to get in the trade. Don't worry about how long you gotta hold on just yet, but I will talk more about that. After you have that evening star pattern, as you can see, I entered this trade Thursday, May 14th at 9 a.m. in the morning, because that's how our schedule tells us to do, right? You either going to enter a trade at 9 or 5, meaning that if you do not see the breakout pullback pattern at 9 in the morning, come back to that 5 the same day and seek you identify it then. If you don't see anything at 5 that day, go to 10 p.m. and kind of at 10 p.m., you're never going to take a trade, but you're always going to make sure everything is up and at 'em. You don't got no entries open, anything like that, or kind of look at the market before you go to bed. But normally, if you are into a trade at 9 or 5, you would do so accordingly as well. At 10 p.m., you would make sure you have your stop loss up and things like that, whatever it may be. So 10 p.m., you're never going to enter, but it's always your safe haven before you go to bed so you get a good night's sleep and not worry about are you negative or blowing your account and things like that, right? So 9 and 5 is always your entry time, and 10 p.m. is your safe haven time where you're looking at your trade, making sure everything is going good. You got stop losses in place, TPs in place, things like that, or nothing out of ordinary is happening in the market, right? Before you go to bed. So when you're looking at it like this, guys, okay, I have my breakout, my pullback, and everything happened by 9 a.m. Thursday morning. If I see that, I'm going to enter my trade. It's just that simple, guys, okay? You got to really understand that you do not need a bunch of reasons why you want to buy or sell something. Remember, you only have two choices, A or B. Anybody without knowing half the knowledge that we know can be a great trader by just guessing. So you knowing a small equivalent of more about trading makes you that much more a better trader. It gives you 80% chance of being correct because you know how to identify the breakout, pullback, and things like that of the market structure of how the way it works, right? So understand that, guys, like it's not complicated. Do not use a bunch of reasons why you should go for a sell. Once I have my breakout, once I have my pullback and things like that, I can easily go for a trade and make my profit. Just that simple. I don't have to overdo it or anything as such. So always remember, guys, right? The more things you have to look at, right? The Fibonacci, this and that, the more complicated you make your strategy, the more you're going to hesitate to enter that trade. So do not make it complicated, right? And when it comes down to this, right? Let's go step by step. You can see exactly what you would have done every step along the way when you follow along with our method, right? So when coming here, remember the first step is always that breakout bar. This breakout bar happened overnight, right? Kind of in that morning, Wednesday morning. It started at 1 and it ended at 9 a.m. that morning, that Wednesday morning. That was the breakout bar. That's always step one, right? After you have that, you're not doing nothing. You're still just watching this pair every single day until all three steps happen. Remember, the whole setup might not happen in one day, which majority of the time it doesn't. It's probably going to take a day or two to fully set up. So the first breakout happened Wednesday, right? And then you also have the pullback that happened Wednesday. You're still doing nothing here, right? You're just looking at the pair and you're managing and your manifestation about what's going to happen overall. The breakout step one, the pullback step two, and then finally you come to the pattern step three, which is that evening star pattern. Like I said before, you can see how this right here, the pullback, makes up of the evening star. If you have all three of these steps, you are going to enter this trade at 9 in the morning. If it doesn't happen at 9, you're going to enter the trade at 5 p.m. that same day, right? It's either going to be 9 or 5, either or. Hopefully, it's going to happen at 9 that morning because it's a lot better entry than getting in the Asian session. Not saying that it's wrong, but sometimes that spread can be a little bit higher, which a lot of the time it doesn't affect me. But getting in on the London, New York session, of course, we all know the spread is a lot more or less cheaper. So getting into a trade like this right here, guys, you can see I would have entered this trade for a sell, and I use a 5.00 or 50 per pip. I try to tell a lot of my new clients when you first reach that high level of a 1.00, that's when your life starts to change. A 1.00 or $10 per pip, it can pay some bills. You're going to make a few hundred or 1,000 or more, and you can definitely start paying your bills. It doesn't mean quit your 9 to 5 just yet, but now you got a 9 to 5 income, you got trading income, and you keep on going on to build your savings, your emergency fund, and so forth and so forth. It just makes it a lot more easier, right? But when you get to the 2.00s and a 3.00, 4, 5, 6.00s, and you're scalping or whatever it may be, the money gets greater, right? And you're not taking a bunch of trades, right? We took this trade May 14th. You would have held even to now, you would still be in profit. So my lot size is 5.00, right? Now watch this, okay? When it comes to my target, this right here would have been my first target if I was day trading. Remember what I said, our method can be a day trade or a swing trade method. You can take your pick, right? If you see this in the day or within that day, it falls down, you would have been up already 1,300. So you've seen what I mean by using a higher lot size. When you have a great strategy like this, where the profit is super big and the reward is super high and things like that, guys, like you want to use a higher lot size. When you know you have a great method and your chance of being correct is at 80%, or you got a method that's 88%, with this right here is about 88% correct all the time. You know what I mean? When you're really slowing down your trading and you're really choosing quality over quantity, what I call it with my students, you want to look for the quality setup where you can add a decent lot size, and that's how you're building your account. You're not going to build your account by nitpicking, making $100 here, $50 here, this and that. No, it got to be thousands. 5K here, 10K here, 3K here, 7K here. Like that's how you grow an account. But with this right here, this is what I mean by day trade. You could have took this trade at 9 a.m. that morning, and by 5 p.m. that day, you would have been up about 1,300. But this is what I try to say, like, if you're just getting started, learn how to do that. Learn how to execute and get into the trade and learn how to be consistent with doing so. Once you can do that right there, it's easy to make 20 bands and 10 bands, so forth, right? Because making more money is all about knowing how to hold on longer and controlling your emotion. That's about it. Everything else remained the same. So when it comes to this, guys, right? Look at that. By 5 p.m. that same day, up 2,400. This is what I mean by the profit. The money is a lot bigger, guys. I mean, you're just making a lot more money because the trade setup is a lot more profitability into it. You know what I mean? Like this is a high probability trade where you know you got a great chance of being correct. When I see things like that, I hop in. I'm going to make thousands of dollars on it. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely going to hop in on it. With TP2 or TP1 being right here, going below that level, if I see that, I'm going to either move my stop loss to break even which is that first step of that thought process, right? Every time we get into a trade, we want to be break even, which is not making nothing, but you're not also losing nothing. So you survive to find another trade, which is your job anyway. You always got to find another one. So you want to always make sure you're in a great position for the next trade, or you're making a small profit. In this case, small profit can be 2,400, that TP1. Anything past that TP1, right? Like this right here, for example, when it came way down here like that, you got 3,500. That's what I consider a big profit. Because anything past your target, you did your job. Whenever you have a TP and it hits that and ding, 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 you made your profit, like you can walk away at that point. So anything past that, you got to understand you're just putting more risk on yourself, which is a good thing, not a bad thing, because more risk equal more reward. You know what I mean? But understand that, right? If you hit a TP, your job is done. You did a great job. You hit your target, move on to the next one. But when it comes on making the swing trade and making the big money, because anything held over a day is considered a swing trade, or multiple sessions will be considered a swing trade. When it comes to enter this trade Thursday, by Friday morning, you're at 3,500 in profit. You see what I mean about that? Not doing nothing. You press a button on Thursday morning. The next day, you're at 3,500 in profit. This is why a larger lot size with a better strategy like this right here, it makes you a lot of profit. This is how you become a six-figure trader, right? And when it comes down to it, guys, just look how long it just kept on going, right? Yeah, we had a pullback and things like that, but just look at that. I mean, you're making a drastic amount of money, 5K. And this is what I mean about trading, guys. Like, this is how I'm making so much profit every single time, but I'm not doing hardly any kind of work. And I really want this right here for all of you guys as well. Because you have a 9 to 5, this is the method for you. If you was tired of nitpicking at the market and trying to dabble every day and trying to get 50 bucks here and chase 100 bucks here, this is the method for you. You're going to make thousands of dollars. Just imagine we did two 5.00s. That would have been 10K right there. You get what I mean? Like, you're seeing what I mean about that. Like, that's how you're making the big money, guys. Okay. So I hope this right here help everybody out. This is my trade recap on EURUSD. I got into this trade on May 14th. And guys, right now, I mean, it's still in profit. We come to it obviously right now, is still all the way in profit. So just imagine that as well, guys. You would have took your trade same as me on May 14th, and by now you will just still be in your USD, not doing no work, but you will be up thousands of dollars. So remember that, guys. More trading do not equal more profit. It's about quality over quantity. I'll see you next time, guys. Have a great trading week.